A very good afternoon to you from BBC Two. In a few moments there will be a summary of the news, but before that we've just got time to look ahead to some programmes coming up later this evening on Two.
There's a feast for Pancake Day on BBC Two. At 7:20 in the travel show, Linfoldswood meets the tourists who feel cheated by Strauss's suggestion the Danube was blue. At 8 in Horizon we look at the new Trans-European Rail Link and the technologies developed to make it a reality. Food and Drink at 8:50 takes a hard look at the problems of safety when cooking with young children. In Birdwatch at 9:25, Tony Soper further indulges his love of televising guano, today looking at puffins, ducks and dodos. In One Man and His Dog, Ted Moult will announce which dog has won the Draw a Sheep competition, taking home the engraved double glazing. And after the news at 10:50, there's Behind the Curtain, in which BBC cameras take a look at proceedings in the Hungarian Parliament for the first time. And that's our bunch of tossers for Pancake Day on BBC Two.
In 5 minutes on Two, we join a rather unusual train journey to Astrid in Scene. And that's after a news summary with Lionel Maxwell-Lyons.
Good afternoon. The headlines. The British Leylandii dispute is over. The cause of the crashed acorn atom has been found. The papal visit to Taunton is cancelled. A suspect is arrested in the flying lawnmower case. The government has backed down from its demands of British Leylandii workers. They had wanted secret ballets, an end to collective gardening, and no more closed tea shops. Mr. Christopher Bowden-Smith for the trade unions said the government's demands had been nonsensical. The fault that caused an acorn atom to crash last week has been found. A defective colour board is now thought definitely to be to blame for the incident. A full public house inquiry will be held at the Lasso Gallery in Manchester at a later date. There will be no papal visit to Taunton in the summer. Alan Pope said, with great regret, because of the difficulty in getting a decent cup of coffee, it has been decided now not to include a visit to Taunton in the papal itinerary. The pound has continued its slide against a basket of other currencies. On the line now is the BBC's economics editor, Chilton McGonagall.
Only a few years ago you could buy a deep-fried pizza for £1, but now you can only get a deep-fried Mars bar. No one at the Bank of England is quite sure why the pound is sliding so dramatically. But they say it might be perhaps to do with the fact they're printing lots of money and giving it to the friends, but they stress that at present that's only a theory. They've asked the London School of Economics to launch a study which they hope will be completed in 1 or 2 centuries.
A Selby man has been arrested on suspicion of throwing a Qualcast Panther lawnmower through the window of a home in Epsom. No one was hurt in the incident, but a pile of jazz magazines was damaged. The man has been remanded in custody. And now the news with subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. The government has backed down from its demands of British Leylandii workers. The unions had described the government's demands as nonsensical. The cause of the crashed acorn atom has been found to be a defective colour board. An inquiry will be held later. The pound has continued its slide against a basket of other currencies. The Bank of England has asked the London School of Economics to investigate the cause of the slide. In Newsnight at 10:50, Peter Snow will be explaining the day's news with the BBC Sandpit, the BBC Playmobil, and the BBC Plasticine. But that's all the news on Two for now. Good afternoon.
And now the weather. In the southwest, the weather is going to be absolutely awful, but over the rest of the country it's going to be worse. And that's the weather. Lionel Maxwell-Lyons is interviewed in the current edition of Radio Times, which this week has been printed back to front due to production difficulties. Starting on BBC One in a moment, Moira Stewart sings the hits of Barclay James' Harvest. But here on 2, we'd like you to see a remarkable documentary which first appeared as a BBC Schools television programme about a very unusual train journey to Asterix.